Hey, good lookins. Welcome to Tangled in Tennessee. I'm your host, Vanessa and I'm here for you on Tuesdays. Here we deep dive into haunting, mysterious, and downright chilling tales into Tennessee's past. So if you like country music, true crime, Appalachian folklore, history, mystery, you might want to like and subscribe or listen to me on Spotify. So, you guys, look at this. How freaking cute is this? I just got this huge package from Jeffree Star. That is like one of my weaknesses is his Star Yak Ranch. And it started with summer sausage for me and my brother. And it just went to I needed the sweater and a bunch of makeup. So, oh, and his setting powder, you guys. I've never sniffed powder. Ooh, that sounds bad. I've never, how do you say that without it sounding bad? I never have had a setting powder that has such a good fragrance like his. So good job, Jeffree Star. Oh, and this sweater though. You guys, I am a sweater buff and it is so freaking cute. Cute, cute, cute. And it's true to size. Love it. Anyway, and it's not even a promo. I'm just letting y'all know how great it is. Tonight, we're going to dive into one of the most chilling cases to ever grip. Damn it. Tonight, we are going to dive into one of the most chilling cases that has ever gripped the heart of Music City. Murder on Music City. What is the song? Murder on Music Row. Even though that's true, this isn't that. This is actually a murder true crime story. Yeah. So this is a story of Paula Henry, and it is a case that still echoes through the alleyways. I'm like looking at how cute this sweater is. I love it so much. Like this little guy. Yes, he's too cute. Jeffree Star, cute. Love him. So in the summer of 1994, Paula Henry, a 29-year-old mother of two, disappeared without a trace from the Nashville streets. She just disappeared. At first, the police were not really concerned because, after all, she had a troubled past with addiction and stirring up bad relationships. But as the days passed, her body was found in one of the most peculiar circumstances. Something darker happened to her. It still shouldn't matter. If someone disappears, it doesn't matter if they are an addict or not. Just my opinion. So on the evening of June 6th, Paula was the last seen in her apartment. She was walking down a avenue and her hands were clutching a cigarette. But it wasn't the cigarette that caught people's attention. It was the way that she vanished. A witness described seeing her walk past the Grand Ole Opry and then nothing. So they literally were watching her walk and she disappeared. No signs of a struggle, no cries for help, nothing. She was just walking, people seen her walking, and she disappeared. So she was walking, right? People seen her disappear, but then her body wasn't found until a few weeks later, discarded in a wooded area. But where things get really, truly disturbing, Paula wasn't just dumped. No, she was posed. Her arms were stretched out, her fingers were curled like they had been reaching for something, and her mouth was slightly opened in like a screaming motion, like how you scream. They were open like that, and her wrists were like tied together with twine, a thin rope, like thin string, and it was tied in a knot really tight. Do they have to do whatever they're doing? Listen, the neighbors. Now, in a case like this, you'd expect the police to immediately suspect foul play, but for some reason they didn't. So this poor girl, they just like, she's an addict. Good luck. But yeah, they for whatever reason they didn't suspect foul play. They didn't even issue a public appeal. It wasn't until local journalists started doing some digging into Paula's life that truly started to make things go in action to find out who did this to her. I mean, people did want to know the truth, and it started to reveal itself because this woman was walking and just disappeared in broad daylight. People seen her. A reporter from the Tennessean, Susan Miller, found something. She had found out that Paula had a conversation with one of her friends just days before her death, and Paula had been terrified. She had been receiving threats. Paula had been haunted by a mysterious figure who seemed to completely follow her around town, whispers of a stalker. But that's not all. The figure was described to be a man with a pale complexion or very wide, like he had some wide, big, huge eyes, and his voice was low and smooth. Now they could see what his eyes look like. What? It wasn't until the autopsy came back that things took a dark turn. Paula's cause of death was from asphyxiation, but what even made it more chilling is that the marks on her neck were perfectly circular bruises. Like the bruises had been precise, and it is something that they have seen in the past, like serial killers do. Like they knew what they were doing. Or they were also curious, could it have been something else altogether because of how perfectly circular the bruises on her neck were? Then what happened? Paula's murder became connected to another chilling, unsolved mystery that would occur just 1 year before she had vanished. The body was of Mary Ellis, another woman who was found in the same area in almost the identical circumstances. Bruises, the pose, everything. Remember her pose and like with the twine, everything was almost the same between Mary and Paula, just 1 year separate from each other. There's no signs of a struggle. Like these women, there was no signs that they were struggling trying to save their life. They were connected and linked by something even more sinister. Raymond Sharp, who had been working on both cases, started to believe that there was something more like ritual about how these victims were taken, that it was something about them. It is suggested that the victims were not just random targets. They were actually part of some type of a group, something very dark. It is theorized that they could have been sacrifices. So at first they thought that they could be sacrifices, but then it went around that, well, that's absurd. But the coincidences of how they died and the positioning, facts that they found started to pile up. Still, Detective Sharp was still working on the case, and he received an anonymous letter marked from an occult shop. Not even really sure what that is, but inside the cryptic message, it said, "The harvest is near. You are being watched." Ooh, hell no. I would have went on vacation that day. Some of the strangest leads pointed towards a group of young men with ties to a local satanic cult. These men were in and out of Nashville's justice system. Like they were frequent. So these men would go around, they were frequent to the area where both Paula and Mary were found, but was the cult really killing them, or was it just a string of murders with the same involvement, same signature? So the investigation of both Paula and Mary were never resolved. To this day, the cult was never caught, and Day Paula's case still unsolved. It probably because they are like, I was an addict, who cares, right? Because the whole case, they kind of were like dismissive. There is one chilling piece of information that Detective Sharp has shared with the press, and this will haunt you. I bet you I'm not going on 8th Street. Sometimes the truth is worse than the fiction we create. I believe Paula Henry was a sacrifice, and I believe that whoever did this is still out there and still watching us. Paula felt in her very last days. She was scared as she knew somebody was stalking her. Um, where it's just hard to understand that she was feeling this and was kind of dismissed from the police because she was an addict. It still shouldn't matter. They should take everybody's fear seriously and kind of siphon out what is true and what isn't. It still lingers because she was trying to tell people that she felt something bad was going to happen to her, and it did. And the police, they just didn't take it very seriously. And yeah, it's so sad just because she was an addict, which I know sometimes they come up with some stories, but this shouldn't matter if you're in the law enforcement. Was she a victim of a ritualistic murder? Was it supposed to be an attack, or was it a personal attack or something deeper? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. And to me, what's scary about this is that this person is still out there. They have had other people go missing on 8th Street. So, girl, I bet you I wouldn't be going on no 8th Street. Avoid 8th Street, right? That's so sad that this person's still out there. We'll be back in just a moment for an ad break. As we return to the story of Paula Henry, we must ask ourselves, what kind of darkness hides in the hearts of those who walk along the streets with us? Was her death a mere coincidence? No, not if she felt stalked. No, it wasn't a coincidence. Or was it something more chilling, connected to forces that we can't even explain? Do you think it was something more chilling? Do you think it was that she was a sacrifice? Do you think it was something even more chilling than that? Do you think it was connected to forces that we don't even begin to comprehend, like what people really think? Some say that the shadows of Music City have eyes and that they truly are watching you. They say that Nashville does have a lot of crazy stories like this. Many in the community still believe that Paula's story is far, far from over, that they will find out what happens because this particular coincidence has happened a couple of times. And because when the night falls in Nashville, the truth isn't always what it seems. So the only thought I got on the story is stay away from 8th Street because I don't think it was a coincidence that both women were tied up the same way. I definitely believe that somebody is watching them, watching people out on 8th Street. Yeah. So y'all guys just be wary of it and just look at my cute shirt. We'll end with that. But yeah, so stay safe, stay curious, and brush some tangles out of your hair, girl. I got this one annoying me. But yeah, I'll be seeing y'all guys later. Join me next week and bye y'all.